The shotgun blast echoed through the pines like a thunderclap from hell, shattering the summer silence of Haven Point. I froze on the dirt path, my heart slamming against my ribs, the wild blueberries I'd been picking spilling from my basket in a blue stain across the earth. Liam's face emerged from the treeline, pale as milkweed, his hands trembling around the barrel of Grandpa's old Remington. And in that split second, I knew the bird he'd aimed for wasn't the one that had fallen. That was the summer I turned 18, the summer the farmhouse in Haven Point, Maine swallowed us whole. Liam, my cousin, 3 years older and built like the oak trees that flanked the property, had always been the one who pulled me from the shallows of family dinners and forced small talk. But as the sun dipped low over the salt marshes that evening, wiping the blood from his hands on his jeans, he looked at me not with the easy grin of our boyhood games, but with eyes that begged for absolution I wasn't sure I could give. We buried the secret in the bog behind the barn that night, the mud sucking at our boots like it wanted to claim us too. No one spoke of it again, not to each other, not to the aunts who fluttered around the kitchen with their casseroles and condolences for Grandma's fading health. But secrets in a place like Haven Point don't stay buried. They rise with the tide, salt-stinging and relentless, until they drown you or set you free. The call came on a Tuesday in July, 10 years after that blood-soaked afternoon, pulling me back to the farmhouse like a hook through the gut. I was in my cramped apartment in Portland, the kind of place where the fog rolls in off Casco Bay and muffles the regrets of men like me. 38 now, no wait, 28, the years blurring like rain on a windshield. Noah Ellis, graphic designer by trade, ghostwriter of his own life story, scrolling through Grindr profiles that promised connection but delivered only echoes. The screen lit up with Aunt Clara's number, her voice cracking through the line like dry leaves underfoot. "Noah, honey, it's Grandma. She's gone. Slipped away in her sleep last night. We need you here at the farmhouse for the reading of the will." I hung up without promising, but by dawn, I was packing a duffel, the weight of Haven Point pressing down before I'd even crossed the state line. The drive north was a blur of lobster shacks and roadside diners, the radio humming old Springsteen tracks that twisted the knife deeper. Grandma's farmhouse sat on the edge of Ridge Valley, a sprawling Victorian relic with sagging porches and fields that stretched to the Atlantic, where the air always tasted of brine and pine sap. It was the heart of our fractured family, the Ellis and Harlan clans intertwined like kudzu since Grandpa Harlan built it with his own hands after the war. I pulled up the gravel drive as the sun crested the hill, the tires crunching like bones. The house loomed, paint peeling in curls like old skin. The widow's walk where Grandma used to watch for Pa's fishing boat now a silhouette against the sky. Family cars dotted the yard, Clara's sensible Subaru, Uncle Tom's rusted pickup, and there, leaning against the split-rail fence, was Liam Harlan. Taller than memory, his shoulders broad under a faded Red Sox tee, dark hair cropped close, a shadow of stubble framing a jaw that could cut glass. He straightened as I killed the engine, his green eyes locking on mine through the windshield, and for a heartbeat, the world narrowed to that gaze, pulling me under like the undertow we'd dodged as kids. "Noah," he said, voice low and rough as the tide-scoured rocks, stepping forward to clasp my hand in both of his. His grip was warm, calloused from whatever carpentry gigs kept him afloat in Boston these days, and it lingered a beat too long, sending a spark up my arm that I hadn't felt since. Well, since that summer. "You made it." "Yeah, wouldn't miss it." I swallowed, tasting salt on my tongue, though the ocean was miles off. The others swarmed then, Aunt Clara enveloping me in lilac-scented hugs, Uncle Tom clapping my back with a gruff, "Good to see you, kid." But Liam hung at the edges, watching. We shuffled inside, the screen door slapping shut behind us, into the kitchen where Grandma's ghost lingered in the scent of chamomile tea and lemon polish. The will was simple, the farmhouse to all of us equally, but with a clause that we'd spend one last summer here, sorting her things, mending what we could. To remember, the lawyer droned, what family means. That night, after the casseroles were picked over and the aunts had retreated to the guest rooms upstairs, I found myself on the back porch, nursing a beer from the cooler. The fields whispered under the moon, fireflies pulsing like faulty heartbeats. Footsteps creaked the boards, and there was Liam, 2 bottles in hand, offering one with a nod. We sat side by side on the steps, shoulders brushing, the silence thick as fog. "She'd want this," he said finally, tilting his bottle toward the stars. "Us here, fixing the place up." I nodded, throat tight. "Yeah, but it's a lot." The words hung, heavy with the unsaid. That summer, the one we'd buried, had cracked something in us both. I'd fled to Portland after high school, chasing art school dreams and anonymity in the city's queer underbelly, while Liam stayed tangled in the family web, dating women who never quite fit, building furniture that held more warmth than his smile. We'd exchanged cards at holidays, texts that skimmed the surface, but never this proximity sharp as a blade. He turned then, his knee knocking mine, and in the half-light, I saw the lines etched around his eyes, the weight he carried like an anchor. Noah, about back then. The bird, the gun. I never. Don't. My voice came out sharper than intended, hand flying up. Not tonight. He exhaled, long and slow, leaning back on his elbows. Fair enough. But we're stuck here all summer. Ghosts don't stay quiet forever. We talked then, halting at first, about my freelance gigs designing logos for craft breweries, his custom cabinetry for Beacon Hill brownstones, then deeper into the currents beneath. How Grandma's stories of Pa's sea voyages had made us dreamers. How the farmhouse's creaks at night sounded like whispers from the walls. His laugh, when it came, was a rumble that vibrated through me, reminding me of stolen swims in the creek, bodies slick and close under the water. By the time the bottles emptied, the air between us hummed, charged like the eve of a storm. Upstairs, in the room I'd shared with him as boys, bunks now stripped to a single queen, I lay awake, the sheets cool against my skin. The floorboards groaned under his steps in the hall, pausing at my door. I held my breath, willing him to knock, to shatter the fragile peace. But he didn't. The house settled into silence, and sleep came fitful, haunted by the flash of that shotgun, the blue stain of berries, and the curve of his hand as it brushed mine in the dark. The days blurred into a rhythm of sweat and memory. Mornings, we'd haul boxes from the attic, dust motes dancing in sunbeams like fireflies by day. Afternoons, repairing the porch rails or clearing the overgrown herb garden, where Grandma's lavender still bloomed defiant. Liam worked shirtless in the heat, his skin bronzing under the July sun, muscles coiling as he swung the hammer. I'd catch myself staring, heat pooling low in my gut, then look away, cheeks burning. He noticed, of course, his glances lingering, a half-smile tugging his lips, but neither of us named it. One evening, after a storm rolled through, leaving the air washed clean, we drove into Ridge Valley for supplies. The town was a postcard of Americana. Clapboard shops, a diner with neon open sign flickering, the harbor where lobster boats bobbed like corks. At the hardware store, old Mr. Whitaker clapped Liam on the back. "Heard about your grandma, son. Tough break. You boys holding up?" Liam nodded, jaw tight. "Doing what we can." As we loaded plywood into the truck, a guy from high school, Tyler Reed, all buzzcut and broad shoulders, sauntered over, eyeing us. Liam Harlan, back from the big city? And Noah Ellis, the artist fella. Small world. We exchanged pleasantries, but Tyler's gaze on Liam was appraising, hungry. "Heard you're single these days. Barbecue at my place Saturday? Bring the cousin." Liam demurred with a laugh, but as we drove back, the cab thick with unspoken tension, he gripped the wheel harder. Tyler's always been persistent. I shrugged, staring at the passing pines. Small towns, everyone's got eyes. That night, rain pattered the roof like impatient fingers. I couldn't sleep, the air humid and close. Slipping downstairs, I found Liam in the living room, silhouetted by the glow of a single lamp, flipping through Grandma's old photo albums. He looked up, startled, then patted the couch beside him. "Come see." Remember this. The page fell open to a snapshot. Us at 12 and 15, arms slung around each other on the dock, grins wide as the bay. Carefree, untouched by the shotgun's shadow. My throat closed. Yeah, before everything. He closed the book, his hand resting on mine, thumb tracing a slow circle on my knuckle. Noah, I think about that summer all the time. Not just the bad part. The rest. You and me against the world. The touch ignited something feral. A longing I'd buried under layers of denial and distance. I didn't pull away. Instead, I turned my palm up, lacing our fingers. His breath hitched, eyes darkening as he leaned in, the space between us vanishing like mist in the sun. Our lips met tentative, then hungry, years of want crashing like waves on the rocks. His mouth was salt and heat, stubble rasping against my skin, hands framing my face as if I might vanish. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, the world reduced to the thunder of our pulses. Liam, I whispered, fear and fire twisting in my chest. What are we doing? He pulled me closer, voice a vow against my neck. What we should have 10 years ago. We tumbled to the rug, clothes shedding like old skins, bodies rediscovering paths long overgrown. His touch was reverent, mapping scars I didn't know I had. The faint line from a childhood fall, the curve of my hip where doubt had hollowed me out. I arched under him, whispering his name like a prayer, the farmhouse walls holding our secrets as they always had. Dawn found us tangled in sheets upstairs, the light slanting through lace curtains like forgiveness. But as Liam slept, breath steady against my shoulder, doubt crept in. Family, the will, the ghosts we'd stirred, what my cousin had done at the farmhouse, what we'd done, would bind us or break us, and Haven Point's tides waited for no one. The morning after tasted like stolen fruit, sweet and shadowed by the bite of what came next. Liam woke first, pressing a kiss to my temple before slipping out to brew coffee, his absence leaving the bed vast and cold. I lay there, tracing the indent of his body on the mattress, the reality settling like dew on the fields outside. We'd crossed a line drawn in blood and berries, and now the farmhouse felt alive with it, every creak a judgment, every beam a witness. Downstairs, he handed me a mug, steam curling between us like a veil. Morning. His smile was tentative, eyes searching mine for regret. I found none, only a fierce ache to pull him close again, to drown in the solidity of him. Morning. We ate in companionable silence. Oatmeal from Grandma's pantry, tart with dried cranberries, then set to work on the barn, its roof leaking from years of nor'easters. As we hauled shingles up the ladder, our brushes electric. A hand steadying my waist, a glance that lingered on sweat-damp skin. By noon, the heat pressed heavy, and we retreated to the creek, stripping to boxers and plunging into the chill current. The water was a shock, numbing the edges of my thoughts. Liam surfaced laughing, water streaming from his hair, tackling me under in a splash that echoed our boyhood. We wrestled, limbs tangling, until I pinned him against a smooth boulder, our breaths mingling hot over the cold. His eyes held mine, green as the ferns fringing the bank, and he kissed me there, fierce and unyielding, the stream rushing indifferent around us. God, Noah, he murmured against my lips, hands roaming low, igniting trails of fire. I've wanted this since we were kids, since you looked at me like I hung the moon. I pulled back, heart pounding. Me too. But Liam, we're cousins. The family. Fuck the family. His voice cracked, raw. They took enough from us already. He meant the shotgun, the secret we'd shared, but it hung broader. The whispers about his father's drinking, my parents' divorce that stranded me with Grandma summers on end. We made love there on the bank, urgent and unhurried, the earth yielding beneath us like it understood. Afterward, drying in the sun, he traced patterns on my chest, talking dreams. His shop in Boston expanding, my illustrations in galleries. For the first time, Haven Point felt like possibility, not prison. But the world intruded that afternoon. Aunt Clara cornered me in the kitchen, her floral apron dusted with flour from pie crusts. "Noah, dear, you and Liam seem close. It's good to see. But remember, he's got history. That girl in Portland last year, the one who left him high and dry." I nodded, stomach twisting. "Just catching up, Aunt C." She patted my cheek, eyes sharp. "Be careful. Love in families gets messy." Her words festered as evening fell. At dinner, Uncle Tom dominated the talk. Politics, the price of lobster, how the Democrats were ruining Maine. While Liam sat quiet, foot nudging mine under the table, a secret anchor. After, as the aunts cleared plates, Tyler Reed called, his voice booming through Liam's phone on speaker by accident. "Hey man, barbecue tomorrow? Bring that fine ass of yours. Missed you since high school." Laughter erupted from the table, Uncle Tom slapping his knee. Liam flushed, fumbling to hang up. "Old friend," he muttered, but the room chilled, eyes darting between us. Clara's gaze lingered longest, a question unspoken. I excused myself early, retreating to the porch where fireflies winked like conspirators. Liam joined me later, slipping an arm around my waist from behind. "Ignore them. Tyler's harmless." "Harmless?" I turned, searching his face. "Or convenient. A cover." His jaw tightened. "What's that supposed to mean?" "You heard Clara. History. Are you seeing him?" He pulled away, hurt flashing. "No. Jesus, Noah. It's you. Always has been." We argued then, voices low but edged, the night air thick with brine and betrayal's first whisper. He stormed off to the barn, leaving me with the stars and a gnawing doubt. Was this real or just isolation's fever dream? The farmhouse, with its sagging beams and salt-eaten eaves, seemed to lean in, listening. Sleep evaded me, so I wandered the halls, flashlight beam cutting shadows. In Grandma's study, I found her journals, leather-bound and faded, pages yellowed like old teeth. Curiosity pulled me in. Entries from the 50s, Pa's voyages, her loneliness in the big house. Then, newer, our names, scribbled in her looping hand. Noah and Liam thick as thieves. Pray they find their way, in this world that chews up boys like them. My breath caught. Did she know? About the summer, the secret? Or something deeper? The pull between us she'd sensed in our lingering hugs, our shared silences? Footsteps drew me back. Liam stood in the doorway, disheveled, eyes red-rimmed. "Couldn't sleep. Saw your light." I closed the journal, heart hammering. She knew things. About us. He crossed the room, sinking beside me on the window seat. Maybe. She was the only one who ever really saw. We talked till dawn, vulnerabilities spilling like tidewater. His coming out in Boston, hushed and halting to friends who drifted away. My hookups in Portland, empty as the Bayside bars. The shotgun surfaced too, how he'd fired at a crow menacing the crops. But panic made his aim wild, clipping a neighbor's dog instead. We'd hidden the body, sworn silence, but the guilt had festered, driving wedges. "I thought you'd hate me," he admitted, voice breaking. "Never." I cupped his face, thumbs brushing tears. "It bound us. We made love there, slow and sacred on the study floor, surrounded by her books like benediction. As he moved in me, whispering promises, I believed in us, for a moment. But mornings bring clarity, and with it, cracks. The next day, Tyler's truck rumbled up the drive uninvited, cooler of beers in hand. Thought I'd swing by, help with the barn. Liam hesitated, glancing at me, but Uncle Tom boomed welcome, and the die was cast. Tyler worked shirtless too, his banter easy, but his eyes on Liam were possessive, touches lingering on shoulders, laughs shared too intimately. Jealousy coiled in me like smoke, irrational and hot. By sunset, as Tyler clapped Liam's back, "Call me anytime, cousin." I saw the fracture. Liam's smile strained, my fists clenched. That night, alone in the kitchen, I confronted the journal again. Grandma's words leaped out. Liam's father suspects. Boys too close. Must protect them. Protect from what? The family? Ourselves? The door swung open. Tyler's voice drifting from the porch, low and coaxing. I peered out, saw Liam's silhouette, Tyler's hand on his arm. My stomach dropped. I didn't wait for explanation. Grabbing keys, I fled to the truck, tires spinning gravel as I barreled toward Ridge Valley. The harbor lights blurred through tears, the bay a black mirror. At a dive bar, shots of whiskey burned down the doubt. A stranger's grind on the dance floor, a pale echo of Liam's touch. Hours later, Liam's texts lit my phone. Where are you? Come home. Home. The farmhouse or him. I returned at false dawn. The house dark save a lamp in our room. He waited, face drawn. Tyler? Nothing. He cornered me. I saw. My voice cracked. And I ran. Like always. He pulled me into bed, bodies aligning like puzzle pieces. Stay this time. Fight for us. We clung through the night, but dawn brought Clara's knock. Mail from Boston. A letter for Liam. Envelope crisp with legal stamps. He read it alone, face paling. What? I asked. Eviction notice. My shop's lease is up. Landlord selling. I need to go back. Soon. The summer stretched, but now shadowed. We worked in stolen moments, touches furtive, kisses desperate. Tyler lingered, invitations piling like driftwood, and Uncle Tom's jokes turned pointed. Boys sticking together, huh? One afternoon, clearing the attic, we unearthed the shotgun, wrapped in oilcloth. Liam's hands shook as he lifted it. This ends now. We took it to the bog, the same spot, and buried it deeper, a ritual of release. But as mud claimed the barrel, Tyler's truck appeared on the horizon, headlights cutting the dusk. He pulled up, face twisted. Heard you're selling the place. Good riddance. Liam stepped forward. What do you want, Ty? You. Always have. Tyler's eyes flicked to me, venomous. But he's in the way. The punch landed before words. Liam's fist cracking Tyler's jaw. Chaos erupted, shouts, scuffle in the mud. Me pulling them apart as blood mixed with bog water. Tyler spat. Freak. Both of you. He drove off, taillights fading, but the damage bloomed. Whispers would spread. Haven Point's vines ran deep. That night, bruised and broken, Liam held me. We'll face it. Together. But in the dark, doubt whispered. Could we? Or would the farmhouse claim another secret? This one laced with love's sharp edge. The bruise on Tyler's jaw swelled like a secret too big to contain, purpling under the collar of his flannel at the general store the next day. Word traveled faster than the tide in Ridge Valley. Texts buzzing Aunt Clara's phone during breakfast, her fork pausing midair as she read. Lord, Liam, what have you done? He shrugged, buttering toast with deliberate calm. Tyler got mouthy. Hands slipped. Uncle Tom snorted, but his eyes narrowed over the sports page. Slipped? Huh? Better not be stirring old pots, boy. This family's got enough leaks. I sat silent, coffee bitter on my tongue, the table a minefield of glances. Liam's foot found mine under the oak expanse, a Morse code of solidarity, but the air hummed with accusation. After, as we washed dishes, Clara pulled me aside, her grip on my arm maternal steel. Noah, talk to me. Is it more than cousins? My heart stuttered. What do you mean? She sighed, drying a plate with vehemence. I see how you look at him, like your grandma looked at Pa. But this town, it's not kind to differences. I wanted to deny, to laugh it off, but her eyes held no judgment, only sorrow. We just care about each other. She nodded, releasing me.
Care za start.
But love, that demands courage. Her words echoed as Liam and I escaped to the fields, scythes in hand to hack back the goldenrod choking the paths. Sweat slicked our skin, the sun a relentless interrogator. He swung wide, clearing swaths, then paused, wiping his brow. "Clara, say something?" I hesitated, then spilled it. His laugh was bitter, blade glinting. "She's right. This place chews up courage." We worked in tandem, bodies brushing in the tall grass, the rhythm lulling us into honesty. He confessed the letter's full weight. Not just eviction, but debts piling from a bad loan, the shop teetering. "I came here to think, but now." "You? Me?" I stopped, facing him, the scythe heavy in my grip. "You're the reason to fight now." He stepped close, fingers grazing my jaw, thumb tracing the line of my lip. "Noah, I love you. Have since that creek, that first real look." The words landed like rain on parched earth, soaking deep. I kissed him there, amid the wildflowers, fierce enough to bruise, the world shrinking to his taste, his heat. We sank into the grass, love making a rebellion against the horizon's watchful eyes. But Tyler's shadow lengthened. That evening, his truck idled outside the diner as we grabbed sandwiches. His glare through the window a promise. Uncle Tom noticed, muttering over his chowder. "Boy's got a chip on his shoulder bigger than Monhegan." Liam tensed. "Let him." We drove home circuitous, detouring to the lighthouse at Owl's Head, its beams sweeping the dusk like a confessional. On the rocks below, waves crashing white, we talked futures. Me illustrating children's books with queer heroes, him building sustainable homes in Portland, together. "We could make it work," he said, arm around me against the wind. "Leave the ghosts behind." I leaned into him, believing, but back at the farmhouse, lights blazed. Clara on the porch with Tyler, his face a mask of contrition, ice pack blooming blue. "He came to apologize," she said, ushering us in. "Family sticks, right?" Liam's jaw clenched, but he nodded, the room thick with forced civility. Tyler's eyes met mine, cold calculation beneath the bruise. "No hard feelings, Noah. Just watching out for Liam." The undercurrent chilled me. Later, as Tyler left, Liam cornered him by the truck. I watched from the shadows, words lost to the night, but gestures spoke. Liam's shove, Tyler's grab at his shirt. A hissed exchange that ended with Tyler peeling out, gravel flying. Inside, Liam paced the kitchen, fists balled. "He knows. About us. Threatened to tell Tom." Panic spiked. "How?" "Guessed. From the fight, the looks." He stopped, cupping my face. "But fuck him. We're not hiding." We didn't, not that night. In the barn, under the rafters strung with cobwebs, we claimed each other again, urgent and unashamed. Hay prickling skin as cries echoed into the beams. Exhaustion claimed us there, waking to dawn's gold filtering through slats. The week fractured then. Repairs halted as family tensions simmered. Tom's pointed silences, Clara's worried glances. Tyler's presence wormed in, helping with the roof, his tools clanging like warnings, stories of Liam's wild Boston days, laced with innuendo. Jealousy gnawed me hollow, doubts whispering. Was Tyler the history Clara meant? A lover Liam hadn't shaken? One humid afternoon, rain threatening, I confronted him in the tool shed, hammer mid-swing. "What's with Tyler? Really?" Liam lowered it, sweat beading his temple. "Old fling. High school. Experiment. Over before it started." Experiment. The word stung, sharp as rust. He sighed, setting the hammer down. "I was confused, Noah. Hiding. You were the truth even then." Truth. It anchored me, pulling us into a kiss that tasted of sawdust and promise. But the door banged open. Tyler, toolbox in hand, freezing at the sight. His laugh was ugly, disbelieving. "Well, shit. Knew it." He bolted, and Liam chased, me stumbling after. Outside, thunder grumbled as Tyler revved his engine. "Your family's gonna love this, Harlan. Cousins fucking in the barn? Gold." Liam lunged, but I grabbed him. "Let him go. He'll poison it all." Tyler spat gravel, gone. The storm broke then, sheets of rain lashing the fields, mirroring the tumult inside. We retreated to the house, soaked and shaking, Clara waiting with towels and tea. Tyler called Tom, she said softly. On the road, said, things. Uncle Tom's roar shook the rafters from the living room. Liam, down here now. The confrontation was a tempest. Tom's face thunderous, accusations flying. Deviant, disgrace, dragging the family name through mud. Liam stood tall, voice steady. It's love, uncle. Real as this house. Tom's fist slammed the table. Love is sin. And with kin, Christ. Clara intervened, tears streaking. Tom, enough. They're men, grown. Let them be. But damage rooted deep. That night, Tom slept in the guest wing, the house divided. Liam and I barricaded in our room, bodies a bulwark against the storm outside and in. We'll leave, he whispered, tracing my spine. After the summer. Start fresh. I nodded, but sleep brought dreams. The shotgun's blast, Tyler's leer, the bog bubbling up our secrets. Days limped on, the will's claws a chain. We avoided Tom, worked the land in silence, tension coiling tighter. Tyler's truck became a specter, sightings at the store, whispers in town. Then, the betrayal. A letter from the lawyer, slipped under Liam's door while he showered. I read it first. Divorce papers? No. A buyout offer for the farmhouse, from Tyler's name, to spare the family embarrassment. It read with a postscript, accept or everyone knows. Liam emerged, towel low on hips, face ashen as I handed it. Son of a bitch. Rage unified us. We drove to Tyler's trailer on the outskirts, rain-slick roads gleaming. He answered smirking, beer in hand. Come to beg. Liam shoved the letter at him. This ends now. Tyler's grin faded. You think you can hide? I saw you. In the barn. Disgusting. I stepped forward, voice ice. Yiluti? Because he chose me? The punch came from nowhere, Tyler's fist glancing my cheek. Liam exploded, tackling him to the wet grass, blows raining until I pulled him off, blood on knuckles. Tyler laughed through split lip. Tell them. See if they keep you. We fled, adrenaline crashing into despair. Back home, the house loomed judgmental. Lights off save Tom's study glow. Clara met us at the door, face drawn. He's packing. Says he can't abide it. The fracture widened. Liam argued with Tom till midnight, voices rising like the gale. Forgiveness begged, lines drawn. Dawn brought uneasy truce. Tom would stay silent, for Grandma's sake, but eyes averted, meals separate. Wounds festered. Liam withdrew, hammering in the barn till blisters burst, while I sketched feverishly, portraits of us intertwined, defying the page's edges. One evening, finding him slumped on the porch, whiskey bottle half empty, I knelt before him. Don't let him win. He looked up, eyes haunted. What if he's right? What if we're broken? I kissed his knuckles, tasting salt. Then we're beautifully broken. Together. We climbed the widow's walk that night, the bay a silver expanse under moon. There, with wind whipping, we vowed against family town doubt. Love as rebellion, fierce and free. But vows test in fire. The next morning, Tyler's truck returned, not alone. A deputy trailing, lights flashing silent. Complaint, the officer drawled. Assault. From last night. Liam's arrest was swift, cuffs clicking like locks on our summer. As they led him away, his eyes met mine. Not fear, but fire. I'll be back. For you. The farmhouse emptied then, echoes mocking. Clara hugged me tight. Fight Noah. For both. Alone, I paced the creeks, journal in hand, Grandma's words a lifeline. Love finds its harbor, storms be damned. I called a lawyer in Portland, cash savings for bail. But as hours ticked, doubt crept. Was this the end, or the storm before calm? Tyler's betrayal cut deepest, a knife in the ribs of trust. And in the quiet, I wondered what my cousin had done, what we'd done. Would it save us or sink us forever? The jail in Rockland smelled of bleach and despair, a concrete bunker where hope went to corrode. I paced the lobby, bail papers clutched like a talisman. The clocks tick a metronome to my unraveling. 2 hours stretched to 4. The desk sergeant shrugs, wearing thin my patience. Processing, kid.
Sit tight.
Tight, as if my chest weren't a vice, squeezing ribs around a heart that beat Liam's name. Clara waited in the car, engine idling against the chill dawn, her texts to family a firewall against rumor. But Haven Point's vines crept even here, a local eyeing me through the glass, phone already whispering. Finally, they released him, Liam emerging rumpled but unbroken, flannel untucked, green eyes finding mine across the fluorescent glare. He crossed in 3 strides, pulling me into a hug that crushed breath from lungs, his whisper fierce against my ear. Told you I'd be back. The drive home was silent storm, rain sluicing the windshield like tears we wouldn't shed. Clara greeted us with stew and silence, retreating early, leaving the farmhouse to its ghosts. Upstairs we stripped layers, clothes, defenses, falling into bed with the urgency of the condemned. His body over mine was anchor and tempest, movements deliberate, etching promises into skin. We end this, he murmured, breath hot on my collarbone. Tyler, the buyout, all of it. I nodded, arching into him, but climax brought no release, only clarity's cold edge. Morning found us plotting over coffee, maps of Ridge Valley spread like battle plans. Confront the family, I said. Full truth. No more shadows. Liam's jaw set. Tom'll blow. But yeah, for us. We started small. Clara first, in the sunroom amid her knitting. She listened, needles still as we spilled. The summer's secret, the creek's confessions, the barn's blaze. Her sigh was ocean deep. New pieces. Loved you fiercer for them. She hugged us, fierce as a squall. Tom's pride's the issue. Give him time. Time we didn't have. The lawyer called mid-afternoon. Tyler pressing charges but shaky. Witnesses scarce, his lips split by mutual fury. Settle out of court, the man advised. Or it goes public. Public. The word hung like fog. We drove to Tom's workshop on the property's edge. Tools gleaming under bare bulbs, sawdust thick as regret. He looked up from planing a board, face hardening. What now? Liam spoke, voice steady. The truth, uncle. All of it. It poured out. The shotgun's echo, the bog's mud, the love that bloomed from shared sin. Tom's hands stilled, knuckles white on the plane. Jesus, boy, that dog. And now this? With Noah. Love doesn't care for bloodlines, Liam said, meeting his gaze. Grandma taught us that. Tom's laugh barked, hollow. Your grandma turned a blind eye to too much. He paced, conflict etching deeper lines. I ain't no bigot, but family. It's sacred. I stepped forward. We are family. This doesn't change that. Hours passed in arguments churn. Scripture hurled, memories invoked, tears finally cracking Tom's dam. Lost my brother to the bottle. Can't lose you boys to whatever this town'll do. He deflated, shoulders slumping. Fine. But Tyler, that snake, I'll handle. Relief flooded, tentative. We sealed it with a handshake, rough but real, the workshop's air lighter as we left. Outside, Liam pulled me close. One down. But Tyler loomed, his trailer a fortress of spite. We arrived at dusk, his truck absent, porch light mocking. Inside, through curtains, a shadow moved, not alone. A woman, lithe and laughing, Tyler's hands on her waist. Cover or conquest? We waited in the truck, rain drumming. He returned alone, staggering slightly, spotting us with a sneer. Round 2. Liam exited, calm as the eye. Drop the charges. The buyout. Or we go public, your harassment, the threats. Tyler leaned on his rail, bottle dangling. Public? You want your little love story in the County Gazette? Cousins canoodle in Haven Point? I climbed out, voice even. Better than local thug blackmails family. We've got witnesses. Clara. Tom. Bluff held. Tyler's eyes flickered. What's it worth to you? Nothing, Liam said. Just peace. Negotiation dragged, wet and weary. Charges dropped for assigned retraction. Buyout torn in the mud. Tyler's signature scrawled reluctant. His parting shot a hiss. You'll regret this. Town forgets nothing. We burned the papers in the barn's fire pit that night. Flames devouring lies. Clara and Tom joining silent vigil. Sparks rose like freed souls, the farmhouse exhaling. Later, in bed, Liam's touch was tender, exploratory, mapping joy's new terrain. We did it, he breathed, lips on my pulse. Us against the tide. But tides turn. Days later, a package arrived. Anonymous, postmarked Boston. Inside, photos grainy but damning. Us in the creek, the barn, the widow's walk. Stalked. Tyler's work? Or deeper malice? Paranoia seeded. Liam patrolled the property, rifle from the attic, not the shotgun, while I scoured journals for clues. Grandma's last entry chilled. Shadows in the pines. Watching the boys. Must warn Harlan. Harlan, Liam's father, long dead. But his ghost lingered in Tom's warnings of old feuds. That night, over dinner, Tom confessed, your pa, Liam, owed money to Tyler's kin. Bad blood. Maybe that's the root. Roots rotten. We fortified, doors locked, but intimacy frayed. Kisses hurried, nights watchful. One storm-lashed evening, power out, candles guttering, Liam pulled me to the cellar for safety. There, amid jars of preserves, fear transmuted to fire. We loved slow, whispers defying the thunder. I'd walk through hell for you, he vowed, fingers laced in mine. Morning brought clarity. Confront the source. We traced Tyler to the harbor, boats creaking in fog. He mended nets, hands raw, spotting us with resignation. What now? The photos, Liam demanded. You're doing. Tyler paused, knife still. Nah, got him too. Warning. Unsigned. Enemy unknown.
Tension spiqued, alliance fragile.
Truce. Tyler extended a hand, calloused. For old times. Liam clasped it, wary. We shared coffee in his truck, stories surfacing, high school cruelties, shared losses. Tyler's eyes softened on Liam. Loved you once. Hurt seeing you happy. Without. Vulnerability cracked walls. We all hide, I said. But hiding kills. He nodded, tossing the photos into the bay. Go live your truth. I'll back off. Relief washed, but trust's tide ebbed slow. Back home, the farmhouse felt besieged. Every rustle suspect. Clara suggested sage smudging, old wives' right. We laughed, but did it, smoke curling prayers. Then the call. Liam's Boston landlord, offering extension, if he returned to sign. 1 week, the man said. Panic crested. Go, I urged. I'll hold here. Sell my share if needed.
No.
His grip bruised. We faced this together. But shadows deepened. That night, a rock through the window, note tied, leave or burn. Terror rooted. Tom boarded the pain, face grim. Time to go public. Our way. The town hall was neutral ground. Clara's idea. Community meeting, truth as agenda item. Nerves jangled as we drove. Liam's hand sweat slick in mine. Inside, faces familiar. Whitaker, diner folks, even Tyler in back, nodding grim. Clara spoke first, voice steady. My nephews, family, and lovers. We stand with them. Murmurs rippled, but Tom rose. They're Ellis and Harlan. Blood. This changes nothing. Liam followed, words halting then flowing. Our story, raw and real. The summer scar to love's bloom. I added depth. The doubt, the fight, the fierce beauty of us. Silence fell, then applause, tentative, building. Not all embraced. Whispers lingered, glares sharp, but Haven Point shifted, a crack in the ice. Driving home, euphoria buzzed. We did it, Liam crowed, pulling over to kiss me senseless on the roadside. But victory's afterglow faded fast. At the farmhouse, lights blazed, police cruiser, Clara weeping on the porch. The barn, she choked. Fire. Flames licked the night, devouring beams we'd mended. The scent of our love. Arson, the deputy confirmed. Note inside, sinners pay. The unknown enemy struck. As hoses doused embers, Liam held me, soot-streaked. They can't break us. But in the ash, I wondered, who and how much more could we burn before crumbling? Ash sifted through the dawn like gray snow, blanketing the barnyard in mourning. The fire marshal poked through the wreckage, boots crunching charred timbers, his verdict grim. Accelerant, deliberate. Kids or grudge? His eyes flicked to us, implication hanging. Liam's arm tightened around my waist, a steel band against the chill. Grudge. The farmhouse stood sentinel, its silhouette accusatory, windows dark eyes watching our unraveling. Clara brewed tea inside, hands trembling as she poured. Tom on the phone with insurance adjusters, voice a low rumble. We rebuild, he declared, hanging up. This place holds. Holds what? Secrets, yes, now torched into smoke. We sifted the ruins that morning, salvaging what we could. A scorched toolbox, Grandma's old lantern, twisted but intact. Liam's fingers brushed mine over a half-melted wrench, a spark in the soot. Remember the first piece we fixed? That rail. I nodded, throat tight. Yeah, felt like starting over. Maybe this is too. But his eyes shadowed, the weight of Boston's deadline pressing. Investigators came, questions probing like scalpels. Enemies? Tyler topped the list, but his alibi held, bar tab time-stamped miles away. Someone closer, the lead deputy mused, notebook filling. Family feuds run deep here. Deeper than blood? Paranoia bloomed wild. We locked doors, slept shallow, Liam's body a vigilant shield. Intimacy shifted, touches now laced with urgency, as if each might be last. One night, rain lashing, we climbed to the widow's walk, blankets wrapped, bay a black void below. Tell me a story, he murmured, head on my lap. I wove one from Grandma's journals. Pa's shipwreck, love pulling him shoreward through gales. Liam's hand stilled on my thigh, voice soft. That's us, storm-tossed, but tethered. We made love there, slow under stars, wind keening our rhythm. Climax shuddered through, leaving us spent, vows renewed in whispers. Whatever comes, we sail on. But harbors betray. The next day, a letter arrived, hand-delivered, no stamp. Scrawled, blood calls for blood. The bog knows. Attached, a photo faded, us boys at the creek, but cropped to show only the shotgun's glint in Liam's hand. The past exhumed. Who? I breathed, handing it to him. His face drained. Someone who was there, that summer. Memory sharpened. Not just us, but a shadow, Elijah, the farmhand, teen drifter Grandma hired for chores. Quiet, watchful, gone after harvest, but his eyes, always on Liam. Elijah Kane, Liam recalled, disappeared after. Heard he joined up, Marines or something. We dug. Town records, online scraps. Kane, now 35, dishonorably discharged, drifting back to Maine on odd jobs. Last sighting, Ridge Valley Mill 2 weeks prior. Confrontation brewed. With Tom's pickup and Clara's blessing, end it clean. We drove to the mill, fog cloaking the stacks like culpability. Workers pointed. Trailer out back. Kane's. His place squatted on the riverbank, rusting hulk amid alders. We knocked, Liam's fist heavy. Door creaked open, Elijah filling the frame. Taller, scarred, eyes same feral green as memory. Harlan, no surprise, only resignation. Knew you'd come. Inside, stale beer and regret. He gestured to crates, no offer of chairs. The fire? Me. Photos too. Why? Liam's voice cracked, fist clenching. Elijah's laugh scraped. That summer. Saw you bury the dog. Heard the whispers, your play. Thought it'd break you. Like it broke me. Broke him? Story unraveled. Teen crush on Liam? Unrequited. Festering into rage when he glimpsed our closeness. You chose him. Nod to me. Family. Taboo. Made me sick, then curious. Joined the Corps to purge it. Didn't work. Discharge for conduct. He admitted fraternization, they called it. Back in Haven Point, seeing us again at the store, old wound tore. Wanted to hurt. To make you feel the isolation. Liam's pity warred with fury. You could have talked. Instead, you burned our home. Elijah shrugged. Defeated. Confessed to the deputy. Photos gone. Won't bother again. We left him there. Broken man in broken trailer. The river murmuring absolution. At the station, his statement cleared the air. Arson pinned. Charges pending. Deputy clapped Liam's shoulder. Town'll heal. You boys? Stronger for it. Healing's slow bleed. Back at the farmhouse, we gathered family. Clara's pie, Tom's ale, for a council. Truths aired. Elijah's shadow, our love's light. Tom raised a glass. To harbors. And holding course. Laughter cracked the ice, tentative. Nights eased then. Locks less necessary. Touches reclaiming joy. Liam and I rebuilt the barn piecemeal. Hands blistered but bonded. Each nail a stake in future. But Boston called insistent. Sign tomorrow. His landlord emailed. Or lose it. Torn. Liam paced the porch. The shop's my dream. But you. Go. I said, heart fracturing. We're not fragile. Portland's 2 hours. Weekends, holidays, we'll weave it. He searched my eyes, finding resolve. Promise. Swear on the bog. Kiss sealed it, salt-tanged. His departure dawn was gray. Truck loaded with tools. My sketchpad thrust into his cab. Draw us, I said. Every night. He drove off. Taillights fading into mist. Leaving the farmhouse hollow. Days dragged. Echoes mocking. Empty bunk. Cold sheets. I threw into work. Designs for a queer-lit festival. Portraits infused with our fire. Clara mothered. Tom thawed with fishing trips. Stories of Pa's resilience. 2 weeks in, Tyler appeared. Not venom, but olive branch. Lumber donated for the barn, delivered silent. Note. Saw the light. Sorry. Progress prickly. Then the package. From Boston, wrapped careful. Inside. A carved box, would warm his touch. Lid inlaid with our initials. N and L. Intertwined. Open. Sketches, my style but his hand. Us in the creek, widow's walk. Even the bog, redeemed as lovers right. A letter. Miss you like tide Mrs. Shore. Coming home soon. Forever yours. Liam. Tears blurred ink. I clutched it, heart swelling. But phone rang, Clara, voice quaver. Noah, the will's contested. Some distant cousin, claims fraud. Fraud? The farmhouse, our anchor, threatened. Who? I demanded. Gabriel Ellis. Your uncle's boy. From Texas. Says grandma promised it to him. Gabriel. Name stirred silt. Summer visitor once. Awkward teen. Eyes always wandering. Another shadow? Panic surged. I called Liam, voice-breaking news. Hold the line, he soothed. I'm driving back. Tonight. Storm brewed as he arrived. Wipers slashing. Pulling me into rain-soaked embrace on the porch. We faced this too. Gabriel arrived next morn. Tall Texan in boots and Stetson. Drawl thick as molasses. Cousin Noah. Heard the ruckus. Meeting in the parlor, tensions coiled. His claim baseless, forged letter from grandma. But eyes hungry on the deed. Family's family. He grinned, too wide. But this place? Prime. Liam bristled. It's ours. All of us. Lawyer summoned, papers poured. Forgery exposed. Ink modern, signature off. Gabriel deflated, but not before confession. Jealousy, old as dirt. Saw you two that summer. Close. Wanted in. Got bitter. Another fracture healed in firelight. He left shamed, deed secure. Summer waned, fields goldening. With barn rising, family mended, barbecues where Tom toasted to love's bold. Clara's eyes twinkling. Liam and I stole moments. Dawn runs, dusk dances on the porch, bodies sinking like waves. One evening, fireflies pulsing. He knelt in the herb garden. Ring simple, silver band, engraved, tethered. Marry me, Noah. Not for show. For us. Tears hot. Yes. God, yes. Joy crested, but pathos lingered. The farmhouse, witness to scars, now cradle for dreams. As leaves turned, we planned, wedding small, Portland life woven with haven visits. Yet, in quiet, I traced the ring, wondering what my cousin did, loved me through blaze and bog, would stay, not as haunt, but hearth. Autumn painted Haven Point in fire, maples blazing crimson along the ridge, the bay a sapphire mirror cracked by wind. The farmhouse stood renewed, barn roof gleaming new tin, porch rails sanded smooth under our hands. Liam and I worked the last touches side by side, paintbrushes dipping in sink, laughter bubbling easy as the creek we'd claimed. The ring on my finger caught sun, a quiet vow, and his glances held the same heat that had ignited us seasons back. But renewal's root runs deep, tangled with what came before. The wedding loomed, small affair in Portland's waterfront park, civil but sacred, with Clara officiating her boys' union. Invite sent tentative. Tom RSVP'd yes with a gruff, bring beer. Tyler a card. Happy for you, truly. Even Elijah, from county lockup, a note scrawled, found peace in bars. Yours now. Yet ghosts stirred. One crisp morning, sorting attic relics, I unearthed a lockbox. Grandma's, key long lost, pried open with a screwdriver's groan. Inside, letters, yellowed, bundled with twine. Pa's hand, to her. Tales of sea gales, love's anchor amid storms. Then one to Liam, and signed, but her script. My boy, the one with fire in his eyes. Guard your heart but let it lead. The world needs your light. Liam read over my shoulder, breath catching. She knew. About the pull. I turned, cupping his face. And blessed it. Tears welled, shared. We made love on the attic floorboards, dust motes swirling like confetti. Bodies a testament to survival. Afterward, tangled and sated, he traced my ring. This us. It's her legacy. Legacy tested swift. The night before the wedding, a nor'easter howled in, winds battering shutters, rain sheeting like judgment. Power flickered, died. We huddled by hearth, candles guttering. Tom's truck sloshed up, Clara bundled beside, faces drawn. Roads flooding, he yelled over gale. Stranded, but got news. Inside, drying by fire, they spilled. Gabriel, the Texas ghost, contesting again. From prison this time for fraud on the fraud. Wants a cut, Tom growled. Says blood in titles. Liam's jaw set. Not tonight. But storm raged, mirroring turmoil. Clara fretted, knitting needles clicking frantic. He'll ruin it.
No.
I stood, resolve hardening. We end cycles. Call the lawyer. Dawn. Hours blurred in talk. Family fractures mended by flames glow. Stories weaving us tighter. Tom confessed his own regrets. A brother lost to silence. Love unspoken. Your pa he swung both ways. Kept it buried. Don't you bury yours. Dawn broke gray, nor'easter spent, leaving rivers of mud. Lawyer met us at the county clerk. Papers signed swift. Gabriel's claim quashed. Final. Free and clear, he said, stamping. The farmhouse is yours. All of you. Relief crashed, hugs fierce in the hall. Back home, sun-pierced clouds, gilding the wreck. We toiled, mopping floors, righting chairs. Liam's hand finding mine in the chaos, anchor steady. Portland called then, wedding day crisp as cider. We drove south, rings exchanged under oak boughs, vows simple. Through bogs and blazes, I choose you. Clara teared, Tom clapped backs. Even Tyler showed, distant but present, a nod across the aisle. Vows sealed with kiss, salt of sea air on lips, the bay winking approval. Reception hummed. Lobster rolls, fiddle tunes, dances where Liam spun me breathless. His whisper hot, husband, husband. Word bloomed, roots deep. But honeymoon's end, reality's tide pulls. Back in Haven Point, the farmhouse awaited, now Airbnb venture. Our shares funding Liam's shop expansion. My studio in the barn's loft. First guests arrived. A queer couple from Seattle, marveling at the views, leaving reviews laced with envy. Love lives here. Winter crept, snow mantling fields, holidays a hearth-warm blur. Christmas Eve, fire crackling. We strung lights on the widow's walk, Liam's arms around me against the frost. Remember the first hook? He murmured, breath clouding. The shotgun. I leaned back, his chin on my shoulder. And the berries. He chuckled low. From ruin to this. Below, family gathered, Clara's pie, Tom's yarns, even Tyler dropping gifts, truce solidifying. Toasts rose, to resilience, to harbors found. But depth demands shadow. One blizzard night, snow howling, Liam woke thrashing, nightmare's grip, the bog bubbling, dog's eyes accusing. I held him, rocking. It's past. He clung, voice muffled. What if it haunts our kids? The name? Kids. Dream whispered. Adoption papers filed quiet. We'll teach them truth, I said. Love's not taboo. It's tether. Spring thawed secrets final. Clearing the bog for garden, we unearthed the shotgun. Rusted relic, unearthed by frost. Liam lifted it, grave. Bury proper? We did. Under the herb garden, lavender marking grace. No ritual words, just hands laced, earth yielding forgiveness. Summer returned, full circle, fields green, creek calling. We swam naked, bodies scarred but sure, love-making lazy under sun. Forever starts here, Liam said, water beating his lashes. It did. The farmhouse, once prison of pain, became parable. Of bloodlines bent but not broken, of cousins who claimed their fire. Haven Point softened, pride flags fluttering diner windows, our story legend whispered kind. Years folded. Shop thrived. My books illustrated rainbows. Child came, small hand in ours, asking of the bog. A place of secrets, Liam told her. Turned to stories. And in quiet nights, ring glinting firelight, I traced his face. The boy who'd fired the shot. The man who'd claimed my heart. What my cousin did at the farmhouse. Loved without apology. Stayed with me forever, not as scar, but salvation. In a world of storms, we'd found our shore. Each other, unyielding, free.